Motorsports presents NASCAR. Today, live from Watkins, Glen, New York, it's the NASCAR Busch Series. Beautiful day here in Watkins, Glen. Let's take you trackside and join the pre-race ceremonies.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the president and chaplain of Motor Racing Outreach, Billy Malden, with our invocation.
Almighty God and Heavenly Father, we pause to give you thanks for this beautiful weather, for the opportunity we have to enjoy racing, and the many people who have worked hard to make this event possible. As always, we ask for your protection of our family and friends who guard our freedoms both at home and abroad. Bless us with safety today. I humbly submit this prayer in Christ's name. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, New Holland presents Warner Brothers recording artist Michael Peterson to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dollaback. Thanks for having us in for the race. Our partner, Benny Parsons, is here with us in Watkins Glen this weekend. Benny has a slight sore throat, so we locked him in his hotel room, put a guard on the door. He'll be watching with you today and back up here with us tomorrow for Sunday's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race. And Wally, one big story this weekend at Watkins Glen, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, Kurt Busch has smoked them in both the Busch and Cup qualifying. He's got a lot of confidence coming to this race. These guys hit on something. They are very, very fast today.
Now, there are a lot of names in this field that you will know, but if you don't follow road course racing, there are some that might surprise you, a lot of them at the front of the field today.
I think this is probably a good day for one of those guys to maybe steal a victory here. You got Pruitt up there, you've got Ron Fellows, Boris Said, P.J. Jones. Now, Fellows had transmission problems, so he's got to go to the back. But you're going to see these guys. These guys are going to be fighting today. One thing about this race, though, also is that for the Cup guys, this is truly one of those races where it's a good indication on what they need for tomorrow. It's only 8 laps shorter than the Cup race. So there's a lot of Cup guys in this race today. They're going to see what it's going to take to get in victory lane as well tomorrow.
Busch Series just finished qualifying about 90 minutes ago. This is an 82-lap race. Tomorrow's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race is 90 laps. This one just 8 laps shorter. A lot of knowledge to be gained, a lot of racing. When we come back to Watkins Glen, we'll have the command on NBC. NASCAR Busch Series racing from Watkins Glen is brought to you by Harley-Davidson. It's time to ride. By Old Spice, proud sponsor of NASCAR. And by new Reese's Peanut Butter Cups with caramel. Let's check down on pit road. Here's Alan Bestwick.
Well, Bill, the man starting on pole for today's race is Kurt Busch. When Kurt moved to Penske Racing in the offseason, he had a conversation with Roy McCauley, his crew chief, who asked him, where do you want to improve? Kurt picked Watkins Glen as one of those places, so the team built this brand new NASCAR Busch Series car, tested it Monday on a road course in South Carolina. He's run the fastest lap one time around. Can he do it for 82? Marty Snyder.
And Alan, for the first time all season, both of the Penske teammates will be in a Busch Series race. Kurt Busch, as you mentioned, and Ryan Newman, his teammates. Ryan comes in here, the defending winner of this race. I asked Ryan, why run this Busch Series race at Watkins Glen? He said, you know, the length of the race is key. Wally and Bill both talked about that. Only a few laps shorter than the Cup Series race tomorrow. That will be critical in helping us plan our strategy, hoping to win tomorrow as well. Bill?
Thank you, Marty. Sunny skies, Temperature in the mid-70s today here in Watkins Glen, New York, and more spectacular weather is forecast for tomorrow when the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series takes to the track here at the Glen. You can see the cars on pit road ready to roar to life. Let's take you back down trackside and get the command for today's race.
And now, race fans, time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here once again, our Grand Marshal, Miss America 2006, Jennifer Berry.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Second road course race of the season for the NASCAR Busch Series. Very tricky one here at Watkins Glen. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting grid and take you down to pit road. Feel the race like never before in 360 degrees of full surround sound. Get ready to hear the big picture, because the only way to experience the full impact of HD is with NBC Sports and Sony HD. Take a look at the Busch Series Championship standings after the first 23 races of the 2006 season. A one-man chase for the championship. Kevin Harvick well in front, but a lot of guys battling for position inside the top 10, and you see all the way back to 10th place, Kenny Wallace. Here's the starting grid for today's NASCAR Busch Series race at Watkins Glen. Kurt Busch on the pole, his first Busch Series pole. He's next to Scott Pruitt. Kevin Harvick's in row 2, along with Ron Fellows, who will have to drop to the back, as Wally talked about. In row 3, you'll see Ryan Newman and Boris Said.
You want to give Boris a call here?
Well, yeah, let's take a look at the rest of the starting grid, and Wally will jump on the radio.
Hey, Boris, this is Wally in the booth. Hear me?
Hey, Wally, how you doing?
Good. Well, I know these things get tougher every year, don't they? But you think you got a piece that can steal one away today?
I mean, the Ingersoll Rand Dodge has been really good in practice, so I think so. Unfortunately, right now, though, I seem to have some air in my brakes. I guess in qualifying, they must have got a little hot, so that's a little worried about that a little bit, but hopefully we'll just keep pumping the pedal up and it'll be fine in the race.
Yeah, that's no fun having to pump the pedal here right before you go down into turn 1. But you guys are just going to, I mean, are you going to try to settle in when the green flag starts, or are you going to the front? Are you going to try to get this thing out front and lead this race?
Probably going to be patient, let Robbie Gordon do all that stuff. That's kind of his MO, and I'm going to try to be there the last 20 laps is when I'm going to start making a charge.
Well, good luck. It's going to be fun to watch.
Wally.
Boris Said, driving car number 9 today, starts in the 6th position on this 43-car grid. Cars just rolling off of pit road, getting ready to go green flag racing here at Watkins Glen. Final stories from pit road when we come back. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Field completing the first of 3 scheduled pace laps here at Watkins Glen. Plenty of time to get final stories from pit road, and here's Matt Yoakum.
Bill, you've already heard some double dippers in today's field running both the Busch and Nextel Cup races this weekend. Some trying to hone their skills, others just out there to have fun. And for Kevin Harvick, he says it's a completely different animal. Not looking to really gain a lot of knowledge out of today's race, just looking for a good solid finish and pad his enormous 374-point lead. Now Harvick, no slouch on the road courses. In fact, 4 NASCAR Busch Series starts on the road courses, 4 top 5 finishes. Looking for that first victory, though, today, looking to put that check mark on his racing resume. Today, Burns.
Matt, Ron Fellows is in the 33 car today. He's an internationally known road racer. He is very, very good, and he's very good here at the Watkins Glen Road Course. 3 wins in the Busch Series at this place. Now, they've already talked about a problem he had. It was a broken shifter, and he has to start at the back of this field. Once before, we've seen Ron come through the field here at Watkins Glen. In a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, he had a similar issue, drove all the way to 3rd place by the end of the day. It should be very fun to watch. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, Jamie McMurray may not be internationally known as a road course racer, but he's been driving on these road courses ever since he was a little guy in go-karts. And Jamie told me this morning was a bit of a surprise in qualifying. He went out there, the car was extremely loose after it had been tight all day yesterday in practice. He said, once I got rid of that hand handful of a race car. I came in, told the guy, I said, once we pull the tape off, the car should be fine. He said, you know what, right now, we probably have a top 5 car, but strategy for us will be key today. If we can do that correctly, we should be able to take a top 5 car and maybe finish in the top 3, maybe even win with it. Alan?
And Marty, let's talk about that strategy. A lot of who wins today's race may be decided by what happens here on pit road. The 82-lap distance in Watkins Glen just a little too far to make on one pit stop under green flag conditions. Most teams will pit very early in the race and then again later on for their final time. But we will see some teams today try and stretch their fuel as far as they can on the opening run of the race, stop once, and then hope for enough fuel-saving caution flag laps in the final stages of the day to not come back onto pit road before the checkered flag waves. Will one crew chief down here make that winning call today and get lucky enough to pull it off?
Thanks, Alan. You guys have a great day down there. The field getting ready to go green flag racing here at Watkins Glen. When we come back to New York, we'll put the green in the air and send the guys flying into turn 1. Hey, Benny's resting up with a sore throat, but he's been working pretty hard. If you go to NBCSports.com, you can get more information on NASCAR. Check out BP's in-depth preview of tomorrow's Nextel Cup race here at the Glen, including Benny's favorite to win and his top drivers to watch, all at NBCSports.com. Field getting the 1 to go here at Watkins Glen. And this is the second of 2 road course races. And as we have seen in the past here, Wally, it has been a challenge for some of these guys to make it to the finish. Watkins Glen a year ago.
Yeah, it's a tough place. It's like any other racetrack. You can't get off the line or you get in trouble. This is real quick through here, very tight up through the S's. There's only room for 1 car up here. Your braking areas, there's a lot of trouble. Cars like to wheel hop going down as you hit the brakes, the rear starts bouncing. You'll run off straight or run into somebody.
But it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a blast. This place is just so much fun to drive. It's not a very hard road course to drive, but it's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. This is pretty hairy up through here. I mean, you're carrying a lot of speed. The car gets light right there about where the pace car is. Car drifts all the way to the right side, right up against the guardrail. You can actually feel a cushion of air in between you and the guardrail. And it's just a fun place to race.
What if you're starting in the back? You know you have a lot of talent and a decent car, like, for instance, Ron Fellows today.
Ron's just going to have Ron is going to pass a lot of these guys in a hurry. There's no question he can get to the middle of the pack pretty quick. But then it's going to get tougher. I mean, the further you get up the field, the harder it's going to take, to pass some of these guys. In the meantime, the leaders are going to be gone. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see yellows, and that's going to help Ron a lot. The more yellows, the better for Ron, because he'll pick some cars up, then the yellow will come out, and it'll erase that gap in between him and the leader. So he's just got to be patient, but he's going to pass a lot of cars in a hurry.
Always fun to watch. The road course ringers coming into NASCAR. Take a look at our race analysis, the pit window. As Alan talked about, 33 to 38 laps. Be tough to do this on 1 stop if it stayed green start to finish. That will not happen, and some of these guys will try and make it on 1 stop. It's truly a battle for track position as well as speed here at Watkins Glen. That's the inner loop or the bus stop.
This is tricky too. This is a place where you can get your car out of shape. You hit that curb coming in just a little bit the wrong way. It jacks the car up. It gets it real sideways. In the meantime, you should be turning the car the other way, and you really got to backpedal here a little bit. You make a mistake like that, and the guy that you're chasing is going to get away, and the guy that's chasing you is going to be all over you.
17th road course race for the NASCAR Busch Series. The 13th held here. You see at the front of the field, the pole sitter Kurt Busch in the 39 car and Ryan Newman in the 02. They look virtually identical. And they might be running bumper to bumper most of the day here. You see Harvick in the Coast Guard Chevy in between the 2 Penske cars. 74 degrees, track temperature just over 105. Just been spectacular here at Watkins Glen. Last couple of years we've had rain here over the weekend, but beautiful yesterday, today, and hopefully tomorrow the same thing for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Big charge going into turn 1 here, right?
There really is, and really the inside's a good place to be, because not so much in turn 1, but when you get to turn 2, you really need to be on the inside. If you're on the outside going up that hill, it is very slippery and very narrow up there. So want to get to the bottom. I think the guys in the bottom have a little bit of an advantage, but you know what? Pruitt's going to probably drive it in there pretty deep.
This is the final left-hander before a right-hander that puts you on the front straightaway or the pit stretch, as they call it here at the Glen. We'll call it a 7-turn road course. We've got the inner loop on the back. 43 cars, 82 laps here at Watkins Glen. The NASCAR Busch Series ready to go racing. Kurt Busch on the pole in that 39 car. You're watching NASCAR live on NBC.
Said did not get a good start.
He had that trouble late stages of the race here a year ago in the Nextel Cup Series. Scott Pruitt running second, then Ryan Newman. There's Harvick in fourth, rather.
Yeah, they pretty much got single file pretty quick before they got to turn 2. They knew they needed to have all the racetrack they could get going up through the S's.
There's Boris in the 9.
Like Newman wants to get around Pruitt bad. And this is a good spot up here. If you can get close enough to the guy, you can pull to the left and try to outbrake in this left-hander. But Newman wasn't quite close enough to try to pull that move. Now, if he stays close enough here, he'll try it down in turn 1. Gonna hit right on Pruitt's bumper, get a good run off of here, which he does. In a good position now to try to outbrake Scott down in turn 1.
Pruitt really tried to block him there through those last couple of turns.
And that's what Newman's going to do. He's going to take the spot.
So Ryan Newman is second behind Kurt Busch. The 2 Penske cars run up front.
Gordon, Robbie Gordon, that 7 car, he wants by this guy, Kevin Harvick. Hear him floating the throttle right through there. Grab high gear. Hard on the brakes into the inner loop, and I knew Robbie was going to do that. Robbie is really good about setting the guy up and passing him on places like the entrance of the inner loop.
That's what Boris said he was going to do.
Yeah. And that's where I think that the road racing guys, the guys that do this a lot, have the advantage is under braking. They're just really, really good at diving in very, very deep, getting on the brakes, getting through the gears, and not getting that wheel hop in the car. And I think that's the biggest advantage they have on a road course.
Alan?
Bill, for people who might not have seen this race 1 year ago, Robbie Gordon was the show. He led a lot of the race, but got caught with the wrong pit strategy. Went all the way to the back of the field, came charging through the pack, restarted with 3 laps to go in the final laps of the race in 5th, and finished second and closing to the eventual winner, Ryan Newman. That 7 car will be a big part of the show today.
Big block there, Boris said, on Denny Hamlin.
Saw McMurray right behind that battle, on board with Harvick. Martin Truex in the 88.
Looks like he took a spot away from P.J. Jones. It's for 9th spot. And if you get up through the S is really good, though. That's where you can set a guy up here. The more speed you can carry exiting the S's, that really gets you in a position to set up a guy and outbrake him like Robbie did.
More on the 88 from Marty.
And indeed, that is Martin Truex Jr. in the 88 car. He's moved up a couple spots. He told me in qualifying the car was extremely loose, but he said it was fast on Friday. Probably a one-race deal in Martin for the 88 car, filling in for the man who was let go from this ride. And he said next week, probably Robbie Gordon will be in this car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. owns this car. He would like to put Shane Huffman in the car, one of his development drivers from now on, but he's not approved to run at Michigan, so probably Robbie Gordon driving the 88 car next week, Bill.
Wow, that'll be something to watch in Michigan. Truex in the seat today.
I'm going to bring my resume down.
Put your phone down, would you?
Yeah.
It's P.J. Jones in the 0 car. Not originally scheduled to drive that car, but got the ride basically because he was here this weekend and working with another team. Had a good qualifying run, has a lot of experience here.
I think the owner, Springer, made a business decision, is what he said. believe he set the car up. Oh, and Boris blows the inner loop. Looks like he may have locked up the brakes. Now he's got to get back behind the car he was running with, right?
Yes, he has to hold his position, cannot gain any positions, get back behind the car he was with.
He's going to lose a few more spots on this deal. He's on the outside right now. Although, let's see if he can hold it getting into this next corner. He should be out loud braking in second position.
And he's in the good graces of NASCAR. He got back in the proper position.
Oh, he lets McMurray go. PJ now is going to get... Nope.
Looked like he was going to get it, though.
Like he was going to try to get on the inside of him.
Boris slammed the door.
I saw some smoke. I don't know if that was from Boris when he was going in the inner loop, if he just locked him up.
Well, let's take a look and see.
All right. There you see him right behind the 21 car. Yeah, he just locks up the rears. Looks like he may even got a little bit of that wheel hop I was talking about. Let's listen. Yep. Yeah, looks like he had a little bit too much rear brake in that thing, maybe, Matt.
Well, you remember at the start of the race on the pace apps, he was concerned about possible brake issues. Felt like he might have had air in the brake lines, and that's when he came on the radio and said, I've got brake issues again for the 9. Tough brake.
Yeah, that really is, because that's where Boris is so strong, is under braking. That's where he makes up all his time, is going into the corner when he brakes. So that's going to be tough on him.
Augie Vidovich making up his own course around here at Watkins Glen. Let's take a look at his off-course excursion.
Well, they're running side by side up through there, which doesn't work. I said earlier, that's not the place you want to be side by side, but I'll tell you what, he did a heck of a job not wrecking that car. John 47 car.
John Wood.
John Wood, he got up on the grass in that bumper and slid into the 4 car.
So Augie back underway. See a lot of traffic around here at Watkins Glen, and there's just not enough room in a lot of places for 2 cars to go through side by side. That's the pit stretch to turn 1 and the right-hander. Check in on Ron Fellows.
There he is. He's in the 28th spot right now. Picking his way through.
Right behind Kenny Wallace in the 22. There's Fellows. And as you predicted, he's picked up a number of positions in the early laps.
Yeah, he's just got to be patient, pick him off. He's 22 seconds behind the leader, but the caution will probably come out, like I said. Dave, how's his car?
And Wally, it's not bad, obviously driving it very well. At the end of lap 1, he was scored in 37th position, moved to 34th, and by lap 4 was 30th. So pretty easy back here on a par, just comparatively. As he gets toward the front, you guys talked about it earlier, it will get tougher. But right now, Ron just moving through the field.
Bernie Lamar that hit pit lane.
One car on pit road. Bernie Lamar. For fuel. Dave, what's that all about?
Fuel and loosening the car up very tight for Bernie at the start of this race. So they will be the first ones on and off pit road. Don't think they can make it from here.
I don't think so either. And if they do, inspection will be fun to watch. Up front, Kurt Busch continues to lead Ryan Newman by 1.4 seconds here at Watkins Glen. NBC Sports at Watkins Glen, New York for today's NASCAR Busch Series race. A number of stories developing surrounding some of our road course specialists. Ron Fellows has been on and off of pit road simply for fuel, Dave.
And the only word so far from them is pit strategy. Now, they were running in the back of the pack, so they didn't have a lot to lose position-wise. Obviously, unless there's a whole lot of caution, they can't make it through to the end, but we'll catch up with Wally Rogers and see exactly what they're thinking. Alan?
And Denny Hamlin is going to pit from 6th position. Here are the first of those moves to pit road by some of the front runners. It's going to be a 4-tire change. They're going to fill it full of fuel. They asked Denny what he needed for adjustments. He said, we're good. So I don't look for any major adjustments here on the 20 car. Now, one thing these crews have to get used to at Watkins Glen, they're going the wrong way. Where normally they would start on the right side of the car as the far side of the car. This time it's the left. The fueling is done from the right side of the machine as well instead of the left. A little bit different routine for these pit crews once a year here on the Watkins Glen road course.
You wouldn't know it.
Nope.
You do a good job.
Worked really hard at it. P.J. Jones has been pushed to the garage. Came to pit road. They looked under the hood, then pushed Jones back to the garage. Martin Truex Jr. had an ignition box problem, then changed boxes, and he is returned to the track.
And Boris said had to come in for a black flag because you're supposed to stop and then go when you blow the interlude.
Not just get back in position, but come to a complete stop. The drivers were told that in the drivers' meeting this morning. So Boris had to do a pass-through penalty on pit road.
And the reason he may have messed that up, Boris, is because in the Grand Am race yesterday, you didn't have to do that. You could, if you blew the loop, all you had to do was get back in that position.
Ron Fellows, his crew over the wall too soon. So a pass-through penalty there. Marty?
And Bill, Kyle Busch is pitting from the 8th position. Again, these are all scheduled stops. Their plan is now to pit around lap 50, somewhere in that range. It'll be 4 tires, no changes for the chassis for Kyle Busch. Matt?
Boris said on pit road for the second time. Now the first, as Wally mentioned, paying the price for the penalty at the bus stop. Now they were able to fuel the car this time. When he was on pit road for the black flag, he had to do a pass through and could not fuel the car because that would have given them a little bit of an advantage over just paying the price for the black flag. No changes for the 9.
Wow, costly mistake there.
All this going on with just 10 laps complete in the Zippo 200 at the Glen.
And he's going to go a lap down, Boris said. It's going to be close. Boris just coming out of the pits, and there your leader, Kurt Busch, is going into turn 1.
Busch in the 39. His teammate Ryan Newman runs second. Robbie Gordon's on pit road. Alan?
From 3rd position, Robbie Gordon is going to pit. A little bit of a debate on his radio between crew chief Greg Irwin and Robbie about the strategy because Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch have not stopped yet. Initially, they were just going to follow those 2 yellow cars, the Penske machines, and pit when they did. But finally, they decided this was the time for their strategy. You see the 4-tire change here for Robbie Gordon and his 7 team.
You basically have to work this way backwards. Get your fuel as early as you can. So if the caution comes out, you don't lose all that track position.
And it's still a luck thing. It's where those cautions come out, whether it benefits you or not, depending on where you stop.
Dave?
And P.J. Jones came here this weekend sort of on standby for a Nextel Cup ride, but you got the Busch ride and then unfortunately out early. What happened?
Yeah, car handled really good. I mean, everything was great. I just appreciated Jeff Spraker putting me in it. Just, riding and everything was good. Just a little short on brakes, just kind of conserve, and engine broke. So nothing we could do, but he has a great road race car, and hopefully we drive it again.
All right, PJ's out early, but at least he got to race today, Bill.
Yep, not the picture he was hoping for, though.
That is not the picture he was hoping for. You're right, Bill.
Matt?
Bill, championship road racer Scott Pruitt is in. Waiting for the guys to come around to the right side of the car. Now, as they're fueling the car, they made an air pressure change before they put the rear tires on. They went up on the air pressure trying to prove the balance for Scott. He's away.
A lot of these teams, huge difference in how far they can go on fuel, and that could play out big at the end of this race. Kurt Busch has been the man all weekend, on the pole for this race, on the pole here tomorrow, and up front in the Busch Series Zippo 200 at the Glen. NASCAR Busch Series racing from Watkins Glen is brought to you by Team Chevy and the 2006 Monte Carlo SS. Now the legendary small block V8 and American Revolution. By Best Buy, thousands of possibilities, get yours. And by AmeriQuest Mortgage, proud sponsor of the American Dream. Kurt Busch continues to lead here at Watkins Glen. His teammate Ryan Newman runs second. Then it's Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray.
You know, one thing about it, these guys are starting to lap these guys too. They've all come in and pitted, and they've lost all that track position. They're losing a lot of time.
And Clint Boyer lost some track
Yeah, he
position.
lost a little time too. He came down into one, he smoked it in. It looked like too hard. Got a little bit sideways, stood on the gas, and then I don't know what else to say. Dave?
What they were saying was, you know, everyone's short pitting. Maybe we'll just keep to our original strategy of hitting about lap 41. It was about that time that Clint spun the car. He was running in the 5th position. He's going to stay out for right now because the car feels okay, but he's lost a lot of track position. The car is tight on the racetrack for Clint right now as well.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, I mean, you know, Fellows is a lap down. Fernandez, Dave Blaney, and, you know, these guys could be in trouble if this thing stays green. I know it's not, because you said it wasn't going
right.
to.
Well, experience tells us that. And anytime you make a mistake here, Wally, you give up tremendous amount of real estate.
Yeah, especially if your mistake is big enough to where you're pointing in the wrong direction. And
but even the small mistakes, you don't hit the apex of the turn, or you don't get through a corner as well as you should.
You look how close everybody runs, and if you just blow one corner, you've got the guy. It's just like anywhere else. You've got the guy all over your tail. You just slip one spot, and that guy's going to take advantage of your mistake. And this is one of those racetracks. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to force a mistake. You're trying to force an issue, especially when you got a good car that you're racing with hard.
That's Kenny Wallace in the 22. He just fell off the lead lap. He's between the 2 Penske cars, Busch and Newman. Jamie McMurray now heading down pit road. Marty, coming to you.
And Billy had made his way from 9th to 4th here in the early going. In lap 16, he comes to pit road. They were a little concerned about the water temperature that at one point had gotten up to 250. So they're going to make sure that they get the grill clean on the 64 car. He said he was loose in the right-hand turn. You see them cleaning the front grill, also pulling off one piece of tape. So what they did to fix that loose condition in the right-hand turns, a pound out of both rear tires, hoping to make the car just a little bit tighter off the corner. One more shot at that front grill, trying to get it clean one last time.
Thanks, Marty. McMurray heads back out. Drivers are really busy at the road course.
They really are. You do a lot of fancy footwork here. You're turning the car left to right. You're up shifting. You're down shifting. And here comes our leader.
Kurt Busch heading for pit road. 16 laps complete. He's got a long way to go down the pit stretch here at Watkins Glen. His teammate Ryan Newman stayed out. 17 laps complete.
So hard coming off the racetrack and coming down pit lane like this. You just feels like you're going backwards. So slow.
Alan, heading your way.
And boy, the last thing you want in a race like this is a speeding penalty where you have to come back in, right? That'll lose you all your track position that you've messed with all this strategy to try and gain. A 4-tire change for Kurt Busch. No changes on the car. Obviously fairly happy with the handling. He was pacing this field quite nicely. A lot of brake dust on that yellow rim on the right front tire. But Kurt Busch the leader in. Dave?
Carl Edwards in his 2nd Busch Series start here at Watkins Glen. The car did not want to turn on all the right-hand turns. That's most of this racetrack. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment, big chassis adjustment in the back. They will change 4 tires and fill it full of fuel.
Carl waits. They drop the car and he returns to pit road and heads out toward turn 1. It's all about your strategy and how you decide to play it out here at these road course races, despite the fact you still have to have a fast car. Ryan Newman now on pit road. Alan, he's got a long drive down to you as well.
Yes, he does, and it's going to be interesting to see how these guys come out on the racetrack, Bill. Once Newman and Kurt Busch file back in with Robbie Gordon, who pitted somewhat earlier. They've gone through these stops without a caution flag coming out. We'll see how the fresher tires have helped Robbie Gordon for a little while. Here's Newman getting to his pit stall. This is a down-sloping part of the pit road here at Watkins Glen. It runs downhill, so the driver has to be a little bit careful getting the car stopped. Going to be a 4-tire change on this 02 car for Ryan Newman, and they'll fuel him up and send him back on his way.
Waiting on the fuel. He's on his way. A little bit of a lengthy stop for that bunch. Kevin Harvick is the new race leader.
He's going to lose a little bit on Kurt Busch on that pit stop.
'41 car on pit road, Marty.
It has been a learning experience this weekend for Reed Sorensen. Bill, you radioed the crew earlier, said, I don't feel like I have enough front brake, so he dialed in a little bit more of that. You see him hitting his pit road. He said, you know, the car's just really loose and tight all over the racetrack, so they make several changes here, air pressure adjustments, all in a quick stop for these guys. 11.2 seconds for the 41 car, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. There's Boris. Currently scored in the 28th position.
Right
to the bus stop.
Oh. He's driving pretty hard right now. Different strategy probably in Boris's helmet right now. Running that car pretty hard.
Marty?
Hey guys, I'll tell you what, keep this in mind. At the end of this run, Greg Biffle was by far one of the fastest cars, consistently half a second faster than even those Penske cars. 4 tires, no changes to the 66 car. He locked up the brakes early in this very first run. Thought he might have flat spotted a tire, but felled out for the run, and everything was obviously fine. And this is a long stop that's going to kill their track position.
Looked like he had a little problem with that jack there, Marty, on the left side. Looked like he couldn't get the left rear off.
Have to be perfect on the track and perfect on pit road if you want to win at the Glen. Kevin Harvick is the race leader by 11 seconds. Has won Busch Series championship. He's trying to lock up another one in 2006. Have a need for speed? Win big in the Zantac Need for Speed Instant Win Game. Win a 2007 Ford Mustang, a trip for 2 to Talladega Superspeedway, and meet AmeriQuest racing driver Greg Biffle. The Zantac Need for Speed Instant Win Game. Look for specially marked packages and get details. Kevin Harvick, the race leader, with 22 laps complete of 82 here at Watkins Glen for the NASCAR Busch Series. He's got a 17-second lead over Clint Boyer. Busch runs back in the 5th spot, Ryan Newman in 6th. Now let's go on board with Carl Edwards. There he is in the 60 car, and Wally got out his screwdriver and his toys today and snuck this camera in there.
Yeah, this is what we talked about, a left foot breaker. He uses his left foot to brake. Now watch as he goes down here. He's probably going to pump the brake pedal a little bit to make sure it's there. See how he taps it? What that is doing is you're just making sure that pedal is firm when you go down there. It doesn't go to the floor. It's just kind of a little safety chicken thing. I don't know, whatever you want to say. We all do it, but
it builds up your confidence.
It builds up your confidence when you're trying to slow these cars down. But you hear him floating the throttle, and when he gets on the straightaway, just as he gets closer to the corner, you'll see him tap that brake pedal a little bit, make sure the thing is nice and hard and solid, because you get on the brakes pretty hard here.
And the clutch pedal's just there for decoration.
The clutch pedal, you could hang some decorations on it, maybe put a picture. You don't use the clutch really except for when you're in pit lane, when you're leaving the pits. They've got these gear boxes so good now where you just kind of blip the throttle and pull the thing back in gear, whether you're upshifting or downshifting. Wow, he's on the rev limiter there. You can hear the engine cutting out. That was the rev limiter.
Carl runs in 21st. Dave, you got some more?
Guess where he started, Bill? 21st.
21st, yes,
yeah,
sir.
So not a real good day for Carl right now. I talked to him right before the race started, and he wasn't real happy with this car. Right before this pit stop, he described it as terrible. It hasn't been a good road course weekend for Carl. His Cup car isn't running that well for him either. So he is soldiering on, as they say, and with the fancy footwork and all.
And hasn't been a good day for Jason Leffler either. He has been hit with 2 pit road speeding penalties. This fall, Matthew Perry and Bradley Whitford star in the new series from West Wing creator Aaron Sorkin, co-starring Amanda Peet, and Steven Weber, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Mondays this fall on NBC. So various pit strategies playing out here at Watkins Glen with 24 laps complete. Kevin Harvick continues to lead. Goes through the bus stop, Coast Guard Chevy. Just a huge lead in the championship standings for Harvick. Just had a sensational year, both in the Busch Series and in Cup. And even with all the technology in these cars nowadays, you still can't have enough technology when it comes to brakes because they're such a huge factor on a road course.
They really are. I mean, it's important to keep them cool. It's important not to abuse them, but you got to use them hard because that's how you pass guys. So, you know, the guys that are building these brakes and calipers, I mean, it's very, very important that you get these cars stopped, and it's just a little bit. All you need, I mean, if you can go 3 feet deeper than the guy you're racing, that's all it takes to make the pass. So it is. It's a lot of it is about brakes and keeping them under you.
Kevin Harvick has the race in his lap right now. 25 laps complete. He leads Clint Bowyer by 16 seconds at the Glen. NASCAR Busch Series racing here at the Glen, but coming up next, AVP Volleyball returns to NBC at the Manhattan Beach Open. Don't miss Olympic champions Misty May and Kerry Walsh take to the sand in search of victory. The Manhattan Beach Open presented by Bud Light coming up next on NBC. So Kevin Harvick,
yes,
Clint Bowyer,
yep,
have not pitted.
Wonder what they're going to do.
You're the road course racing expert.
Got to be trying to go for one pit stop.
Harvick leads by 17.4 seconds over Bowyer. And right now, just 30 cars on the lead lap. Long way to go in this one. See if we can find our pole sitter. Kurt Busch, there he is. Currently runs third. He's 21 seconds behind Harvick.
But he knows those guys have to stop.
Right, he's already been on and off of pit road.
That's a very good shot. Kurt's visor. In the third gear there. Like he holds third gear. Probably bring it down a second. Daniel Quinn Jr. is going to get by him.
And this is where you start working here.
Yeah. Looks a lot easier than it is.
I was just thinking you could not convey how fast it is.
No, I know.
Now to the bus stop. Right, left, right. There's the right, left.
Back to the right. That's a tough deal in one of these heavy cars right there, because if you get a little out of shape, you get way behind on your steering coming out of there. Into third gear. Another corner, you really drive in deep. Bring it back down a second. That's a fun corner.
And this is an important corner too because it sets you up for the front stretch.
Right, this is the corner that you'll set somebody up, hopefully, to try to outbrake him getting down into turn one.
Drop back looking for Martin Truex Jr. and get an update from Marty.
And Bill, remember they had that ignition problem earlier in the race, and they lost a lot of track position when Martin switched to the backup ignition box. So he just radioed the crew to his crew chief, Wes Ward. He said, we're trying to do this on one stop. He said, I think because we've lost so much track position, we really don't have a choice at this point. We have to follow what the 21 and the 2 are going to do. So they're going to wait until Harvick hits pit road, and then they're going to come to pit road. So they've kind of forced themselves into a box here where they have to try and make it on one more stop. But the problem is they're running out of time. These guys have to pit because he's been green for 30 laps now. Have to pit in the next 3 or 4 laps.
Wow.
Ryan Newman.
Something broke on that car because it looked like an oil line or something. There a lot of oil on the track. You see these guys are hitting it now. Denny Hamlin.
Bernard, Robbie Gordon. Oh, another car sliding in there.
That was Hamlin. But you can see it. You can see the flames coming out of the back of the car. That's normally from an oil leak or a line coming off.
Stacy Compton.
And a lot of those other guys barreled in there not knowing what was on the racetrack, and well, when you hit that, forget it, you're going for the ride.
Take a look.
Just watch in the background, you'll see the O2 come flaming by.
Wow. So Ryan Newman brings out the first caution of the race. 30 laps are complete. NASCAR Busch Series racing at the Glen. How will this affect pit strategy? We'll come back and find out on NBC. On board with Denny Hamlin here at Watkins Glen.
Watch, you'll come down there and just watch on the racetrack. You'll start to see oil. That shiny stuff right there, that's oil. You get in it, you're there for the ride. The only thing that's going to stop him is Ryan Newman. That's how fast it happens.
Just enough time to think about it to really make you worry. So Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer both stay out, but behind them a number of cars heading for pit road. 52 laps to go. There's Martin Truex Jr. in the 88. He's headed for Snyder.
Yeah, Bill Truex will pit from the 4th position, and they really can't make it from here on this stop, so I guess it's just too far to go on fuel. That's why the 21 and the 2 cars decided to stay out. They decided to take advantage of this caution. For the 88 team, however, Martin said really all he needs is a little bit of more forward bite off of the corners, so it's a very small quarter-pound out of both rear tires, trying to tighten it up just a little bit. Alan?
Well, Denny Hamlin came into this race 3rd in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship standings. Right side damage on this car from where you saw him go off into the gravel trap and bounce off of Ryan Newman's disabled car. They're going to put 4 tires on this car. It's kind of dusty, but I don't think they'll take the time to wash it here. A little bit of sheet metal damage to repair. Matt?
And A.B. Wally documented the fluid on the racetrack. That's exactly what Todd Berrier, Kevin Harvick's crew chief for today, was telling him. Also, they were closing in on their window, but due to the caution, they decided to stay out. Once we go back to green, look for the 21 to hit pit road, and then possibly 10 to 15 laps after that, hit pit road for a small splash of fuel. Dave?
Crew Chief Dan Deeringhoff had told Clint Bowyer, yeah, we're going to pit this time, and then we can just do a splash later. A voice came on the radio questioning that move. It was the voice of Richard Childress. Why are you going to pit now, boys? Why don't you just stay out with enough cautions? We can do this. They stayed out.
Well, some interesting strategies here at Watkins Glen. When will Harvick come to pit road, and when will Bowyer follow him? We'll find out when we go back to green flag racing. Still under caution here, Kevin Harvick is the race leader in the Zippo 200 at the Glen for the NASCAR Busch Series. Pit road update from Marty Snyder.
And guys, Kyle Busch, I'll get the Busch brother right, had a fast car earlier today, but they came down pit road with a problem. It's a broken front sway bar arm, just like happened to Jeff Gordon last week. They thought the pin had come out, and we're going to get a final diagnosis of what it is. They think they have it fixed. Chad Walter, the crew chief, discussing with the crew to make sure that they have everything repaired on the 5 car. But again, the same problem that happened to Jeff Gordon last week at Indianapolis. They've dismounted or unassembled the entire front sway bar assembly. They have the bar here, the arms here as well, trying to figure out exactly what happened on the 5 car.
I don't think it's fixed yet, Marty.
Well, Kyle Busch will let him know. Trouble for Stacy Compton as well here at Watkins Glen. NBC Sports live in Watkins Glen, New York for NASCAR Busch Series racing. They continue to work on the car of Kyle Busch, trying to repair that sway bar.
Oh, my Lord. Oh.
What is this? Oh.
Ah! Oh, my God! Oh!
We haven't even left pit lane yet.
You can go straight now!
That's it, that's it.
Wally, what are you up to?
Sit up there. Obviously, somebody thinks I'm a good driver.
Who is that?
She was in Bewitched. She was in RV.
And The West Wing.
And The West Wing.
Christian Chenoweth. Yeah. And she's in Wally's World.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. I'm pretty sure she had fun.
We'll find out tomorrow. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Watkins Glen. Right here on NBC. It all begins with the Bank of America countdown to green. Well, pace car to pit road. Harvick and Bowyer still have not pitted. This will complete lap 33.
coming.
Watch the chart. Yes.
Sorry there. Somebody was looking. Comes Boyer. Making a move in the 2 car on the 41 car. Oh, somebody smoked the tires back in there.
Jay Sauter was the lucky dog.
Got some guys with a little bit better tires on right now than Harvick as well.
We watch him head for the bus stop, Matt.
But a great restart by Kevin Harvick, Bill. And on the pace laps, besides getting a tack reading for their pit road speed, they also look for the lines on the wall, which is the restart area. Harvick did not know where that was. His crew chief and spotter both gave him the cue of when to start and what a start he got.
So Harvick leads. Kyle Busch continues to sit on pit road while the crew tries to make repairs to his car. Kenny Wallace in that AutoZone car, the AutoZone Ford, is the first car 1 lap down. He runs in 30th.
Whoa. Kurt Busch trying to get under Regan Smith there in the 25 car. And he really does want to get by these guys right now because he thinks he's got better tires than the leader. He doesn't want to lose a lot of time with these guys that are lapped down. There's Robbie Gordon's going to follow him through. Now they only have 1 lap car in between them and the leader.
With Boyer trying to make the same move.
See, you lose a lot of time right there going side by side. Look how much time those guys have lost now. Because you go side by side through there, you got to get way out of the gas. You lose 7, 8, 10 car lengths on the guy that you were racing with.
John Andretti in the 10 trying to make the move on the inside. Scott Pruitt in the 1. And Jamie McMurray. There's Andretti.
John's on the 5th spot right now.
Regan Smith is doing a good job of racing and trying to stay out of the way of cars he knows are a lot faster with a lot more experienced guys.
I see Boris Head up there as well. Boris in the 8th spot.
Boris in the 9 car right there behind McMurray. Marty, an update on Kyle?
Yeah, Bill, he's still sitting on pit road, losing laps here. And then what happened was they had the one side of the sway bar arm fixed. Now they had to fix the other side of the sway bar arm. You see him in the top left of your screen, losing valuable time sitting on pit road, going down laps. So they're trying to get this fixed. Earlier, they had tried to stay on the lead lap by closing the hood and going out and around the racetrack when the pace car was coming around. But now they've kind of given up, and now they're losing laps sitting here on pit road.
He scored in the 40th position, 3 laps down.
Johnny Andretti just got by Boyer for the 4th spot. And that's what I'm saying. Now you're going to start seeing these tires come into play because these guys have a little bit better tires on than Kevin Harvick and Boyer. So they're going to be a little bit quicker. How's Boris's brakes, Matt?
Wally, he says he still has some brake issues, but what a drive. He's climbed from 35th inside the top 10. He stayed out into the last caution. The car still needs a little bit of help balance-wise, still a tick on the tight side. But, you know, he has his own fan club here, and they're not hard to spot up in the stands. The Set Heads. Can you imagine what the Bill Weber fan club looks like?
Yes, they brought 450 of those Boris Head wigs, right, Matt?
Absolutely, Bill. They have their entire section up there as they're watching that 9 trying to work his way back to the front, trying to rebound from that issue over at the bus stop.
Yeah, he may lose the spot here. He's got Biffle trying to capitalize on the mistake, but Boris puts on the huge block.
There you see Kyle Busch finally exiting from pit road.
Oh, he's going to come out right in front of these guys. Now they're going to have to slow up. They're going to lose a lot of track time right here.
Busch is 4 laps down. Boris said the 9 car runs 8th.
Boy, Biffle looks like he's got a pretty good run on Boris said, but Boris is using that mirror well right now.
And up front, Kurt Busch has caught Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, this was just a matter of time, really.
Looking left, still there, clear behind him.
Middle leader, 39. Come on.
So our pole sitter, Kurt Busch, recaptures the lead. Harvick runs second, has still not pitted. "37 laps are complete, 45 to go. So, do you feel lucky?
Yeah. Gonna need it.
Andretti in the 4th spot. More on John Andretti from Dave Burns.
And Bill, they will have to pit probably within the next 10 laps or so. They pitted first on lap 10 for fuel only. The car for John right now just a little bit snug, but they are one of those cars that's going to have to come in for fuel not too long from now.
But Dave, that's almost going to bring the race to them, isn't it?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay. With their fuel mileage and their pit strategy. The thinking being now, as we look at race leader Kurt Busch, as soon as you get in your fuel window, you're coming.
Exactly.
Fuel window for this race between 33 and 38 green flag laps. We've run 30. This will complete lap 38. 3 of those are under caution. Harvick stays out. He chases Kurt Busch. They're all chasing the win here at Watkins Glen. Waiting to see how the fuel strategy plays out in the NASCAR Busch Series.
The championship point leader finally makes his way down the pit road. Kevin Harvick's guys going to work. Lap 40 here at Watkins Glen, making sure they pack that fuel cell full of fuel in case we get another caution. This may possibly be their only stop here today. Harvick's crew chief Todd Barrier signals for him to go, also cautioning him to not speed on pit road. Some other guys, Dave Burns, have been caught today.
Matt, moments ago, his teammate Clint Boyer was on and off of pit road. Clint could feel his car losing the gas pickup in the S's. That's the back and forth right and left hander. He could feel that the car was getting starved for fuel, so they came onto pit road. He was able to keep the motor running. They filled it full of fuel, put 4 fresh tires on. Clint's good to the end.
That'll be interesting to see if they can make it to the end. 42 laps remaining. Check downstairs with Marty.
And Bill, Ryan Newman standing in front of a gravel-filled, dirty 02 car. What happened, Ryan?
The engine just blew, downshifting. They're going into the bus stop. A great run today, going at least for our Penske truck rental Dodge. And thank everybody at Penske Racing for giving me the opportunity for us racing this Busch car. But just keeping Kurt in check. They're keeping him within sight. Both of our cars I thought were really good, and just trying to play it safe and something like go.
All right, Ryan Newman, okay, and the car, a little dirty, but nonetheless not too bad. Works for the wear.
If you blew an engine, that's what we call grenading an engine, because that was big.
In spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
Here's the race leader, Kurt Busch, but the guy behind him driving the 7 car, Robbie Gordon, is on the move. Is that car pointing the wrong way?
Dave Blaney.
Spitting some water out. That's down in turn 1.
That would be the wheel hop. The dreaded wheel hop in turn 1.
You get on the brakes.
Yeah, you're going downhill. You get on the brakes, and the front just slams down, and the rear starts jumping up and down in the car. It's just like the wheels are on 2 pogo sticks back there. And really, the only way you can get out of it is you either ride it out. But actually, if you hit the gas, if you just give the gas pedal a shot, that gets the tires spinning again, and that's how you drive it. Now, it's hard to tell yourself to do that when you're going down in the corner and you're wrecking. But that's one way you get out of a wheel hop.
How did you learn that?
The hard way, I guess. I don't know how I learned that, but when I did it,
it worked.
It worked. I went, wow, this is cool.
More on the race leader, Kurt Busch from Allen Bestwick.
All right, Bill, so you're Roy McCauley, Kurt Busch's crew chief, and now you've seen what the game is where fuel strategy is concerned. What do you do? How soon do you bring him in? Well, I just talked to Roy a second ago. He said the plan for right now is to see how much time they can gain on Harvick while he's back in traffic and they have clear racetrack. Look for this 39 car to try and turn the fastest laps he can for the next stretch of the race before they come down pit road. Now right behind him, Robbie Gordon in second. His crew chief Greg Irwin just told him, our fuel window opens now. If you want to run one more lap to ensure us fuel for a green-white-checkered finish, go ahead, but we can stop anytime. The 2 and the 21 will be the only traffic we have if we stop now, and then the caution comes out. So keep an eye for Robbie Gordon to pit in the next couple laps.
Alan, they're figuring tire wear into that equation as well, right?
As far as the Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick balance? Yeah. Well, mostly, though, traffic build. Because right now, Kevin Harvick's going to be back in the pack, and Kurt Busch is out in that open racetrack ahead of him. There's nobody in front of him. So they want to see how much good use they can make of that free racetrack and hope that Harvick gets held up some.
Oh, boy, it looks like he's out there on a qualifying lap. Harvick all by himself on the racetrack. That's not what McCauley and those guys wanted to see.
No, but he's got a lot of cars in front of him and between him and Kurt, but yeah, got a clean racetrack right now.
Yeah, Harvick is 27th. And right now he is 52 seconds behind race leader Kurt Busch, and it takes about 75 seconds to run a lap here. There's Kurt. And Robbie coming to pit road.
51st gear, Rob, 38, 51st.
So he's got to make that long, slow drive down pit road. That'll move John Andretti into second spot, followed by Jamie McMurray, Scott Pruitt, Greg Biffle. Robbie heading for his pit stop, and Alan's there.
Got a couple more takers behind you.
No adjustments called for on this stop. This is the final stop of the day for Robbie Gordon. They're planning on getting it as full of fuel as they can, then they figure they'll be good to go to the finish. Look for a smooth 4-tire change if they can. So far, things good on the left side of the car. And now they'll come around to the right. Remember the backwards pitting here at Watkins Glen. A lot of brake dust as they pull that right front tire off. That's a good-looking stop for this team.
That 79 car of Butch Leitzinger just in front of Robbie had to do a pass-through penalty for non-compliant fueling. Usually that means the catch can man wasn't in the proper position. Could have been a variety of things, and that'll knock Butch back to 32nd, 1 lap down. Kurt Busch started from the pole, has led 24 of the 45 laps so far today. He's also on the pole for tomorrow's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race here at the Glen. Has had nothing but praise for his crew and his equipment in both divisions throughout the weekend here. John Andretti runs second. McMurray wants that position, and Scott Pruitt, the veteran road racer, in fourth. More on McMurray from Marty.
Bill, I'll tell you what, at the end of this run, Jamie McMurray has had some of the fastest lap times. He said, you know, guys, I'm surprised. I had no idea our car would be this good today. We have excellent grip all over the racetrack, but look for these guys to stop, much like Robbie Gordon, who just did a minute ago, in the next 2 to 3 laps. That's their pit strategy. They're going to stick with it. They should pit by lap 47.
Looks like he's waving his hand right now, Marty. I'm not sure if Jamie's not going to come in this lap. He's waving his hand to out the window to Scott Pruitt. I don't know if he was indicating he was coming to the pits or to go around him. Doesn't look like it. Maybe he was telling him John was coming in the pits.
Pruitt's going to try and win that battle to turn 1. McMurray looks like he's going to hold him off. Dave?
And here's John Andretti getting the fuel that he needs to go to the end. Just check with the crew. They will be fine after this on fuel. Brake dust coming off the 10 car as well. John has kept it up in the top 5. Again, he pitted early on lap 10. Pitting early among those that have to stop now. So if he needs a caution to make the strategy work out to the end of the race.
They have a problem on that stop, Dave? Or was it pretty clean?
Didn't look too bad, Wally, actually.
Okay.
This is for second, McMurray in the 64 and Scott Pruitt in the 1. Everybody chasing this guy. Kurt Busch leads by 8.3 seconds. Has to make another stop. And we're being told he could make that stop right now.
Hey, what, he's laying down some very fast laps. Yep, he's going to hit pit lane.
38, 3800 at first.
Slows down at the timing line.
All the way down here, 38.
And he has the very last pit stall.
The water's going to come in from the right side window. Water's going to come in from the right side window.
All the way at the exit of pit road.
38, all right, roll it.
Coming to you, Alan. Get the water ready.
Come on down, I got you. Come on.
And that water is just a reference that Kurt asked for a bottle of water on his next pit stop, telling him they're going to hand it to him in through the passenger side window. There it goes right now. A 4-tire change. The big moment here is when Kurt leaves pit road to see how he comes out onto the racetrack versus Kevin Harvick and Robbie Gordon. When Robbie Gordon left, trouble onto the right front. Long stop for Kurt Busch. Critical long stop as they had problems, on the left front. So this is going to be huge to see how far behind Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick Kurt Busch comes out instead of ahead of them.
Robbie Gordon just went past.
Yeah, it's going to be about, well, it's about 7 seconds from where he was, so going to lose a couple of spots.
So we talked about how the drivers have to be flawless, and so do the pit crews.
You all you can, buddy. We messed you up. Keep taking it.
Now a more determined driver trying to make up for his crew. Jamie McMurray now gives up the lead and heads for his pit stall. Marty?
When McMurray comes in as the leader, ran in third for much of that run, and you better believe the crew saw the 39's pit stop. And Brian Fraser, the crew chief, told the guys, listen, the 39 was a little slower in our stop. If we're perfect, we can gain a little bit of track position. He said the car at the very end of the run was just a little bit tight, half-pound of the left rear tire, and the stop continuing for the 64, but very slow and methodical here. Matt?
Marty, one of those contenders on pit road, the 1 car, Scott Pruitt. Now the air pressure change they made in the previous stop only made the race car tighter. So they tried backing up on that. He should be good to go as well.
And Denny Hamlin came in. Remember, he had the problems earlier where he was caught in that accident when Ryan Newman lost the engine. Well, the 20 team has had a couple of issues the last couple of weeks, losing track position due to the strategy just working out wrong for them. Hamlin came on the radio and said to his crew chief, Dave Rogers, I'll challenge you. See how you can fix this one through strategy after they had the extra stop earlier.
Greg Biffle is the race leader. He's also headed down pit road toward his pit stall. There's Biffle in the 66 machine. Headed for you, Marty.
Yeah, Bill, remember the last run, Biffle was so fast at the end of the run. On this one, he wasn't quite as fast as he was on the last run. He said the car at the beginning was just crazy loose. That was a quote. Pound out of the rear tires, trying to get a little more forward bite, and a pound into the around in the left rear of wedge, just trying to get that car to tighten up a little bit too much. They felt like they lost all their track position at the very beginning of that run, and they can't afford to have that happen again. So it'll be 4 tires for the 66 car. They're hoping the strategy plays out for him, and if it does, and he's fast at the end of the run again, it could work out for him pretty well. And a nice stop for the 66 Sponge.
Right now, Robbie Gordon is in 5th, about 3 seconds ahead of Kurt Busch. And Kevin Harvick runs in 12th. Michelle Jourdain is scored as the race leader as we cycle through green flag pit stops here at Watkins Glen. But the race is back around the 5th and 6th position. We'll update you when we come back to the Glen. Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR, is teaming with Orange County Choppers to benefit the Victory Junction Gang. If you'd like a chance to win the Sunoco Orange County Chopper benefit bike, log on to victoryjunction.org and look for the Victory Junction Gang Camp sweepstakes, or you can pick up entry materials at participating Sunocos. Michelle Jourdain, the race leader. Dave Burns was just telling us he needs to be on pit road by lap 60. Or he's going to be out of gas.
Or he's going to be out of gas. And behind him in the second spot is Brian Simo, about 9 seconds back.
And then the race begins.
Yep, Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch, McMurray, Andretti, Truex, Pruitt.
Robbie in the Harris Chevy, a number 7 car. Kurt right behind him. According to our computer, it's about 3.1 seconds.
It'd be kind of fun to see how this plays out.
Kurt's car is really fast.
It really is. I mean, it's been the fastest car on the racetrack pretty much the entire day.
Also want to update the 88 car, Martin Truex Jr. Marty Snyder telling us on their last stop they just took 2 tires. Truex runs in the 7th spot. Scott Pruitt has fallen to 8th. Craig Biffle is 9th. Kevin Harvick is 10th.
That is forward position right there, the 2nd spot. Gordon takes it from Simo.
A hand wave out the window, a thank you from Robbie. And Kurt continues to try and close in that 39 car.
Kurt was a little bit faster than Robbie that lap.
In this situation, when you're chasing, you have to be careful of not overdriving the car.
Not so much on a road course. I mean, I think when you're chasing somebody on a road course, it actually helps. I mean, it's you start driving in a little bit deeper and you start getting a little bit more aggressive. And I think you can make up time if you drive the car a little bit harder. You can't overdo it. But I think always when you have a rabbit in front of you on a road course, it actually helps the guy behind him to get on that wheel a little bit harder.
How about if you're the leader? You're looking forward and backwards, right?
That's the problem. If you don't want to be looking backwards and you know, you just want to almost not even look in the mirror. You know, you're getting the information from the team, but you just want to drive the car as hard as you can and not overdo it. And that's all you can do. If the guy behind you is catching you and you're doing everything you can, well, there's not much you can do about it. So, but you don't want to be distracted.
Kevin Harvick in the 21 car is in 10th place, runs about 8 seconds behind that Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch battle. Matt?
Phil, his crew chief Todd Berry, you've done the math. Are you good to go even if we get a green-white-checkered?
Yeah, we're good on fuel right here. Just don't have the track position that we need. And obviously, we need to be in the front. We're about to have a caution or 2 to get us caught back up, but we're good to go as far as the green-white-checkered. Don't add up to 7 or 8 laps. I mean, obviously, a couple, 3 laps is good. We are that.
What about the other concern, brakes?
Yeah, he's saying the brakes are about gone. And right now, we're just in a place in the track. We're just kind of riding, saving it, hoping for a caution to get caught back up to these guys.
Right now, Harvick runs in the 10th position.
And Matt, as you know, he is the championship leader, a huge 383-point lead in the Busch point standings as they run right now. So he'll protect that position and do as much as he can with that car if the brakes are indeed failing.
That's one thing when you lose the brakes, that's when you get into that wheel hop situation, because you're using if your brakes aren't as good, you're pumping them and they're not stopping the car as good, you'll use the gearbox and the engine to slow you down more. And that's where you start getting in trouble and getting that wheel hop.
Jourdain is the race leader, but he has to get to pit road. That will hand the lead to Robbie Gordon on the road course at Watkins Glen, trying to go back to victory lane at the Glen. Michelle Jourdain, the race leader here at Watkins Glen. Maybe about 3 or 4 laps from pitting. That will give the race lead to Robbie Gordon. But rapidly closing the gap behind Robbie is Kurt Busch, the pole sitter.
Yes, sirree.
He shaved about 2 seconds off in the last 6 laps or so, and there you see it. Now you can measure it in car lengths. Robbie the race leader, there's Kurt.
Kurt Busch is about 3 to 4 tenths of a second a lap faster than Robbie each time around. So it's just a matter of time. We have Mr. Biffle. Oh, and Pruitt in the tires.
This is in turn 1. And the caution flag is out. Just our second of the day, and this is what Kevin Harvick really wanted.
That was radio. communication said the 66 dumped him. Another term for being wrecked. I don't know if he dumped him. I mean, Greg Biffle was going down there, tried to outbrake him. Kind of slid over into Scott. It wasn't Scott's fault, for sure.
8 tires weren't better than 4 there.
Yeah, he paid for it.
So the second caution of the day is out here at Watkins Glen. NASCAR Busch Series racing from Watkins Glen is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series, 25 years running. By Sony. Sony is the official high-definition television of NASCAR on NBC. And by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. The 50 of Danny O'Quinn is the lucky dog. An update on Kevin Harvick from Matt Yoakum.
Bill, a lot of concern in the 21 pit. While we were away, Harvick came on the radio and said, I believe I have a flat front tire. Now his spotter went down and talked to Carl Edwards' spotter, had Edwards look at the front tires, said they were up. Then Harvick thought he might have had a broken shock. And then Wally, as you drivers do sometimes, said, you know what? I think I just needed to clean my tires a little bit. I think I am okay. But they have some shocks on the wall just in case. AB?
On top of the pit box in Robbie Gordon's pit with Greg Irwin, the crew chief. So you've got that big yellow car behind your yellow car. What's Robbie saying, sizing up the competition?
I think he knows, barring any problems, it's probably going to come down to him or Kurt. They've probably been a little faster than us most of the weekend, but our Harris Chevy's doing really good, and we're thanking the guys at Menard Engines. We're getting real good fuel mileage this year, much better than last year. Obviously, we pitted with some of the better cars. He's doing a great job. We haven't made any adjustments all day, and the pit crew is definitely getting the job done on pit road.
Hi, Greg. Thanks. To Marty.
Alan Jamie McMurray sits in fourth. Brian Frazier is his crew chief. Can you get around that very fast 39 car? That's the first question.
I don't know. I told Jamie when we come out of the pits and he was right in front of us, that was for the win, the car in front of him there. So we held our own there with him the last couple of laps, and our cars seem to get better all day long as we've run. So, tire wear has been great on the car. So, we get down to the end there and Jamie starts spelling that win. You never know what might happen.
Jamie told the guys a few minutes ago, I can't tell you how good this car is, guys. Dave?
And Clint Boyer is going to come in and change 4 tires and put fuel in the car. Felt like they couldn't win it as it was. May have been close on fuel in the end. They're going to get him on and off pit road. They're having trouble, looks like, are just packing it full of fuel at the rear of the car, making sure they have every drop in there.
Michelle Jourdain has been on and off of pit road, giving the race lead to Robbie Gordon. Kurt Busch is second, Jamie McMurray third at the Glen.
Let's watch right there. You see Pruitt and Biffle coming down the corner. And it actually does look like that Pruitt kind of turned down over on top of Biffle right there. And Biffle did everything he could to stay off of Pruitt. And so I think there's just a little bit of maybe not enough give and take on that deal, because Biffle was definitely down on the inside of him.
And we heard that Biffle was not very happy with Scott Pruitt after that. Most drivers are not.
No, but Biffle's sitting at 6th right now, so it didn't do too much damage to his car.
I'll tell you who might be sitting in a really good spot is third place Jamie McMurray, because Robbie Gordon and Kurt Busch are right in front of him. 2 very determined drivers with very good equipment.
And you think they may not finish?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they might finish, but their cars might not look that good when they get there.
It'll be interesting to see if Robbie throws the block going down into turn 1 here on this restart.
Be 22 to go. Pace car to pit road.
I believe his car will get wide.
Ready.
Waiting for the green. Robbie the race leader, Kurt Busch second. McMurray, Andretti, and Truex Jr.
Robbie got a pretty good restart. And yeah, it's going to get a little wide. Wow. Oh, Biffle goes down on the inside of John Andretti and makes it stick.
Boy, he sure did.
Good move.
This isn't over. Top 3 try to break away. McMurray faked to the inside, then fell back outside as they headed for 1. Caution is out for debris. The field is frozen at this point.
big piece of debris. It's like a part of a bumper.
Yep. Bumper bar. Yep. Right in the pit lane. Just want to remind everybody, our buddy Benny Parsons is here with us in Watkins Glen this weekend. BP, a little bit of a sore throat.
Caution, Rob, caution.
So he's watching with you back at the hotel. He'll be with us tomorrow for NASCAR Nextel Cup racing. Right now, the Busch Series under caution at the Glen. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Sunday Night Football continues on NBC. Al Michaels and John Madden with the call. For all the action is Cincinnati tangles with the Redskins. Coach Joe Gibbs and company making the trip to Ohio tomorrow night. NFL preseason football live on NBC. To Alan Bestwick.
And Roy McCauley, the crew chief for Kurt Busch. So is your driver sizing up his competition at all for you here?
Well, the Penske Truck Rental Dodge is pretty strong today. Robbie's got a strong car. We're just going to race as hard as we can and see what happens here. You never know. Like I say, we're going to have about 20 laps left of racing, and a lot of things can happen in 20 laps. You're going to see cautions come out and all kinds of situations arise. I don't know if we can get them or not. We'll see. It's part of that's why we have the race, right? But Robbie's strong, and but I tell you what, we got a secret weapon ourselves, known as Kurt Busch.
That is why we do this. We have fun watching to see if he can get around him. Thanks, Roy.
All kinds of circumstances could arise, and they probably will. 20 to go at Watkins Glen under caution. Robbie Gordon leads Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray, Greg Biffle, and John Andretti. Field getting ready to take the green. We check in with Dave Burns.
And going to run up here with Rick Gay real quick, talking with NASCAR officials just a little bit here, trying to figure out if that's a friendly conversation, or are you trying to get some rules changed to help your driver? Are you okay?
No, we're okay.
Just checking.
Yeah, no rules changes for us. We're doing pretty good here today. We built this car brand new a month ago. All the guys at the shop done a really good job with it, and we took it to VIR and tested it earlier this week, and it's a really good race car for John. And if everything goes our way, we'll be up front at the end of this thing.
So far it has. Car is good. Strategy has worked out for the 10 crew. Bill?
Wally, here's the last restart.
Yeah, what you have to do here, if you're trying to protect your position, you want to run the car to the inside. In Robbie Gordon's case, or you want to run down the inside, protect it. And you see Biffle all the way to the left. He's going to take 2 cars right here because he's going to dive down the inside, and he's got the preferred line right there, especially when you're getting into turn 2. So on these restarts, everybody's going to be looking to turn that steering wheel to the right.
The guy on the inside is carrying more speed down in there?
Yeah, because what he's trying to do is outbrake the guy. So he is carrying a lot of speed. You just have to make it through the corner without trying to knock the guy you're passing, into the dirt.
Because you'd never do that. No comment. Robbie Gordon, the race leader. You're ready to take the green. Be 19 to go in the Zippo 200 at the Glen. Watch him fan out on the front stretch and dive into one. Hang on tight, everybody. Here we go.
Ooh, 39's got a good run, but there's the big block. He's going to try to get out on the outside. This is going to be good. Oh, he gets up on the curve, both of them. Robbie may have run him up on that curve a little bit. McMurray takes second spot. Almost takes the lead.
Almost got them both.
Yeah.
McMurray to second with 19 to go. And that kept the field really tightly bunched.
I got a flat left rear tire. Right you.
I think McMurray's going to...
Flat left rear.
I don't know who that is talking about a flat left rear, but...
Flat left rear.
McMurray's going to have a tough time keeping that spot right now. He's got Kurt Busch all over him, and he wants by him because Robbie's going to get away, and here he is. Going to have enough? Nope.
Busch all over the bumper of McMurray.
Let's do the crossover here. There it is. Now he's in position to take the spot away from McMurray. Biffle's right there. Oh, he puts the block on Biffle. Wow. It's starting to get ugly.
Yes,
though.
it is. Very aggressive now. At the beginning of these road course races, it's all give. At the end, it's all take.
It really is. And I mean, there's only a couple of really good places to pass here, and that's one of them. And if you can take a guy's line away and you could block a little bit, but I say a little bit, because if you do that to the same guy 2 or 3 times, that's going to get old, and the guy's going to put his bumper to you.
That's Boris said, stepping out of line there, getting a position on Truex Jr. McMurray in the 64 runs third. Then it's Biffle, Andretti. Harvick in the 21. Then Boris. All single file through here. Now the right-hander back onto the front stretch, and see who dives into one this time on the inside. You're thinking about this move the whole lap, aren't you?
Absolutely. You're thinking about setting the guy up, trying to get as close to his bumper as you could out of that last corner so you can get underneath him going into turn 1.
Safely through 1 and 2. You want to go back and look at the restart?
Yeah.
They charge up through the S's.
We're on board. Okay, we're on board. Kurt Busch here. Big block. Busch goes to the outside. And I think Robbie just pushes way up the racetrack. Then he actually turns into Kurt Busch a little bit. So he pushed a little, and then he turned a little. And knocked Kurt Busch offline a little bit. So if Busch gets back to him, he may just repay that favor.
Off in the gravel. Car off in gravel. Caution will be coming out. Car off in the gravel.
That's obviously one of the spotters.
No caution.
No caution yet. Now the caution is out.
There it is. Caution's out. Caution's out.
Deep in the gravel.
Carlos Contreras.
I'm glad you said that.
Now, you don't get out of that, do you? Out of that
that's
kitty litter.
That's in pretty deep.
And you know what this means?
No.
Another restart.
Oh, yeah, good.
With Robbie Gordon and Kurt Busch.
We all like that. Robbie doesn't.
About that, okay? I could not get it in second gear at all. I got around the outside of it because I couldn't get it in second gear.
He got in trouble getting into the inner loop. He got way up on the curb, had a guy on his outside, and that was a disaster in the making right there from the get-go.
Regan Smith gets the lucky dog. Issues for Carl Edwards, Davey.
He restarted 6th, Bill, and he fell out of the top 20 by the time the caution came out. Power steering issues for Carl. They don't know if it was for... they had a debris caution earlier, debris all over the track, and he may have broken something underneath there, but it was about that time he started reporting power steering issues. Now they're going to work underneath.
Yeah, it just takes one rock to knock that belt off. It doesn't take a whole lot, but...
Carl Edwards right now second in the championship standings, 414 points behind Kevin Harvick.
Thank you.
Nothing gone.
It's about 70, 80 plus points in front of third place Denny Hamlin. There's Carl. Alan's been listening to some radio traffic. What'd you pick up?
I've been listening to the radios of both the first and second place cars, and as you can imagine, there are differing versions of what happened on that last restart. Robbie Gordon just called into his crew and asked them to go down and tell Kurt Busch's team that the reason he got out of control in that first corner was because he couldn't get his car down into second gear. Now, that conversation has not happened yet that I've been able to see, and I am standing in Kurt Busch's pit. On the other hand, Kurt's crew chief Roy McCauley just radioed to his driver and said, okay, he pulled a dirty trick on you. Let's regroup and go get him.
And here's what they're talking about one more time. The most recent restart.
I think what Robbie said, he couldn't get into second gear. I mean, Robbie did have the wheels turned all the way to the right. Watch this shot. Watch the front wheels of Robbie Gordon. Downshift. Robbie's turning to the right, Then he catches it. Yep. I don't know if he could get it in gear or not, but...
Clear.
As a crew chief, you wouldn't want it any other way if you're the crew chief for either one of those drivers, because both those guys went in there as hard as they could.
Right.
And now they're going to get to do it again. NBC Tuesdays this fall. Don't miss Friday Night Lights. The team behind the hit movie is bringing it to NBC as a new series. A story of hopes and dreams, kind of like this race. Friday Night Lights, Tuesday this fall on NBC. Field still under caution. Our fourth of the day.
I'll tell you though, if Robbie is having trouble getting in second gear, when you get down there on the inside like he did, and you can't get it in gear, your car will slide up through the corner. I've known Robbie for a long time. That gear thing could be a 50-50 deal with Robbie, so I'm not sure I'm going to buy that or not, but we'll see what happens on this next restart.
67 laps complete here at the Glen for the NASCAR Busch Series. Take a look at what we've seen so far. 20 of the teams in today's race, also in tomorrow's race. Lap 13, Glenn Boyer, a little pirouette. Tried to get it stopped, finally did, right in the middle of the road. Lap 31, Martin Truex Jr. in the 88, but the story was right behind him.
Big flame out. I mean, hand grenaded Ryan Newman on that engine, and a lot of oil came out the back. A lot of guys came sliding in, like Denny Hamlin, hit the oil, slid into Ryan Newman's burnt car.
The only good news is Denny was able to get out. Currently runs 11th. Lap 58.
Biffle and Pruitt having a little bit of an argument on real estate there in turn 1.
And not the last one we'll see in turn 1 today. Field will get the green next time by. We talked about the 20 drivers that are in this race that will compete tomorrow in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race, and there's nothing better than seat time, but I can't imagine there's any more valuable seat time than the Saturday before at a road course.
I think so, because there's always stuff you can learn. The track conditions I think are going to be very similar to tomorrow. The track doesn't change here a whole lot. But just getting, because they only run them a couple times a year. So this is just an extra big old practice session for these Cup guys for tomorrow's race.
Kurt Busch and Casey Kane on the front row tomorrow. Then it's Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson is 5th. Robbie Gordon, who currently leads here, starts 6th tomorrow. Then it's Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin. The top 10, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start 11th. An update from pit road from Alan.
Yeah, Bill, just a final follow-up on the whole radio exchanges there between the top two teams. The message from Robbie Gordon's team came through the spotter down to Kurt Busch's pit, and Roy McCauley, the crew chief, responded, "You tell him we gave him that one. We're not going to give him another one."
As I said before, right now, Jamie McMurray might be in a really good spot
right
in
now.
3rd place. Greg Biffle is 4th. John Andretti's 5th.
I don't know about that, Bill. He's got Biffle behind him. And Biffle's been really making some strong moves under braking down in turn 1. So he's going to have to keep an eye on Greg Biffle in that 66 car.
And another car to try and watch on this restart is Boris Said, the veteran road racer, restarting 7th. Marty?
And tell us you don't think they've told Jamie McMurray that the two guys in front of him might take each other out, do you?
You might run out there and remind him right now, Marty.
Yeah, they've reminded him twice already, and they said the old line from Days of Thunder, you have a specially matched set of tires to go on the outside of them if you need to. So if they take each other out, take advantage of it this time. Matt?
And Marty, that's a similar conversation that Boris Said spotter has had with Boris. They said, just to let you know, there's been a big difference of opinion up in 1st and 2nd. Keep your eyes open. We may be able to pick up something big here.
Be 14 to go when they get the green flag. Robbie Gordon in the 7 car, Kurt Busch in the 39, Jamie McMurray in the 64, the top 3. Then there's Biffle, Andretti, Harvick, Said, Truex, Yaley, and Ron Fellows, who has worked his way back into the 10th spot. All right, hold your breath. Robbie bringing him at a crawl to the green flag, then tries to get on the gas.
Pretty good restart from Robbie on that one. He got a couple car lengths between him and Kurt, and that's all it took to get in there clean in turn 1.
Pretty tame up front, scrambling for positions behind them. Harvick on the move.
Harvick trying to get underneath Andretti. John sees him, gets offline a little bit, but and picks it back up.
That was a strong restart by Robbie Gordon.
That really was a good restart. And that's, you know, so important on these races. You got 14 to go. Need all the help you can get because he knows Kurt Busch has got a fast race car today. And you're gonna throw a little dirt on the racetrack behind you. And I'm telling you, don't think that's not on purpose either. When you're leading a race, if you can drop a wheel and throw dirt on the racetrack behind you, those guys are going to hit it.
You drivers are mean. You're mean.
You know,
you're blocking, you're throwing dirt on the track.
This is not for sissies. Oh, by the way, Robbie's pretty good off-road.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. Boy, Kurt Busch is in a good spot right now to set him up for turn one. If he gets, he's got a good run on him. If he gets on the inside, this could be it.
Side by side. Robbie trying the crossover.
Holy mackerel, did Gordon drive that thing in? He's going to cross over one more time.
That's an unbelievable move.
I'll tell you what, that was strong, and he's on the inside, and they are banging doors.
Kurt Busch gets the lead back.
That's good stuff right there.
Less than 13 to go. McMurray's right there as well.
Yeah, McMurray's going, yeah, go, go.
Drive harder, Robbie, drive harder.
See Kurt?
Trying to protect his position there, right?
Inside, but see, now it gets you offline. Now Robbie's got a better run through there. That's the only downside about protecting your position like that when you go down on the inside. That's not the preferred line. So you got to be careful when you do that you have enough exit speed not to have that guy set you up.
So when they come to the front stretch, who's got the advantage this time? Robbie, more off-road racing.
I think he's trying to put somebody's windshield out right now. I'm sorry, Bill?
Robbie's going to try and set up Kurt this time.
Yeah. But he's got to get closer.
Continues.
See, he lost ground there. He's got to be closer in order to make that move. He's got to stay on the racetrack. That would help a little bit.
Going to get him this time. And now the question is, does McMurray have enough car to get past Gordon and try and catch Busch?
Apparently he does. I mean, his car looks really strong right now.
Robbie's really going to try and make up time in the interlude. Through the S's. The backstretch. There's McMurray in the 64.
Robbie does gain a little bit right there in the interloop. He does pick up a couple of car lengths right there.
All right, let's go back and look at the last time they came down the front stretch into one.
This is great stuff. I mean, Kurt Busch just perfectly set him up. Runs him to the left side of the racetrack, and he's going to outbrake him. But Robbie goes back down to the inside, and I mean that is going deep, folks. Problem is he slides up. Kurt Busch gets back on the inside of him, and he's got position going into turn two.
And guess what? Here they come again. You could hear the fans cheering because the fans here that come to Watkins Glen have a great appreciation for road course racing. This is a legendary road course here in the Finger Lakes region of New York State. These fans come here for NASCAR. They used to come here for F1, for the Indy cars, the sports cars. Ran here on Friday night.
It's a fun racetrack to drive.
Tell you what, got a lot of time left in this one. Let's take you through the field, starting with race leader. Here's Alan.
Well, Bill, remember that it was troubles on a pit stop that got Kurt Busch out of the lead and back behind Robbie Gordon. That came out earlier at lap number 47. So Busch now back out in front. I guess the only thing this team might worry about the rest of the race is that their teammate Brian Newman had a mechanical failure earlier. Robbie Gordon back to second place now, trying to stay with Kurt Busch. Robbie hasn't said anything on the radio since the exchange of the lead there, but he does have a rear-view mirror full of Jamie McMurray. Gordon finished second here 1 year ago. Marty?
Alan, when the day started, Jamie McMurray told me he would be happy with a top 5. Currently, he's in the 3rd position, running a little bit better than he really expected today. They asked him if you could catch the 39. He said, I'm too loose, just don't have enough grip to be able to catch the 39, or that 7 car is currently in front of him. Greg Biffle said his car is tight through the uphill part of the course to the racetrack called the S's. He thinks the left front fender may have been knocked in just a little bit. He said the car just will not turn, doesn't have the grip that it had earlier on today. Dave?
Things have worked out well today for John Andretti strategy-wise, but also racing-wise. This will be his first top 5 of the season in this 10 car, and the guy behind him, he might not race him that hard. Kevin Harvick has talked about being very conservative today, and Andretti, racing hard, has Harvick, championship protector, behind him, Matt.
And Harvick trying to reel in and take that top 5 spot. He's never finished out of the top 5 in 4 previous road course starts. Harvick says the car still evil. Not exactly sure what is broken. He says the car just does not feel right. Marty?
Well, Matt, remember earlier in the day, Martin Truex Jr. had to switch ignition boxes. He's been on that backup box the entire day, and they've had no problem since then. On the last stop, they took left side tires only. It got in the track position he needed, and he's been able to hang on. Currently, he's in the 7th spot. He said, I think I might be able to get some more positions, but I may be running out of time. Matt?
Besides Kevin Harvick, the 9 of Boris said also has issues with his brakes. He says he has to pump the pedal a number of times before he gets to the corner, but he does have a little pedal left. Still trying to reel in that 88, Dave.
Good day for J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. Really hasn't had too much bad to say about his race car. Currently in the 9th position, has made up a lot of positions on track, and also has had good strategy as well. The 33 of Ron Fellows, save for the problems that they had at the beginning of the race, having to start at the rear, and the problems they had for men over the wall too soon during a pit stop. Ron might be a little further forward. The car has been running well. They just haven't had things go their way, Matt.
It has not been a smooth day for the 1 of Scott Pruitt. He was off course earlier. His mirror fell off. He told his spotter, you're really going to have to help me now. And if he could see out the back, he'd see the 20 car AB is reeling him in.
And a very nice rally for Denny Hamlin in that car, Matt. Remember back at lap number 28 when Ryan Newman lost his engine, Denny Hamlin was behind him, hit that oil, and got off the course and crashed into Newman's disabled car. After pitting for repairs, Hamlin went to the back of the field. He's worked his way back up to 12th. A very nice rally. Michael Waltrip, his team has used some strategy today to move him up from a starting spot by the tail end of the grid, 37th place, up to 13th. They took earlier in the race just a couple of tires on their first stop at lap 11, then 4 tires on their second stop. Nice drive for Michael, Matt.
A very solid drive for Max Pappas in the 36 car. Now, he told his team under that last caution he was trying to cool his brakes to take one more shot of a very nice drive. He says, in fact, he says, the guys in front of me are wheel hopping. I think I can get him, Dave.
Nice run for David Green today. If there's one thing that can help you on road course, it's experience. And David has more than most guys here in his 10th start here in the Busch Series at Watkins Glen. Bill?
Thanks, guys. That's the top 15. There are currently 28 cars scored on the lead lap here at the Glen with 8 laps to go. Busch trying to win from the pole, holding off Robbie Gordon for now. The 12 Busch races here at the Glen. The race has been won from the pole 3 times. Terry Labonte did it twice. Ron Fellows did it back in 2000. Of course, Terry Labonte, a 4-time winner of this race. Robbie looks like he might be getting a little bit better, you think?
Well, I think Robbie's a little bit better right now. It looks like it's under braking, but it looks like Kurt Busch's car is getting off the corners a little bit stronger. Robbie seems to gain a little bit of... He's getting a little dirt back at Robbie.
There's Carl Edwards. Dave?
Well, you know, Carl Edwards is second in the championship. He's way behind Kevin Harvick, but he was only 100 points ahead, basically, of Denny Hamlin coming into today. And we talked about the fact that he lost power steering, and a belt was indeed knocked off. But what happened was the motor actually shifted. A motor mount separated just a little bit. The motor shifted over, kicked off that power steering belt. They decided to pit and fix that because it was also affecting the throttle for Carl Edwards. They want to make sure he didn't put it in the fence and injure himself, the car, and maybe even second place championship hopes for today.
Pass-through penalties have been issued for Todd Cleaver and for Michel Jourdain for running the inner loop and not stopping. And to update the story Dave was talking about, Carl Edwards is now just 42 points in front of Denny Hamlin in the championship standings. Edwards second, Hamlin 42 points behind him in third. Kevin, go ahead.
I was just saying, looks like everybody's pretty much settled in right here. I mean, they're driving hard. Trust me, Robbie's driving really, really hard right now, trying to get to the back bumper of Kurt Busch, but Kurt's just been very smooth. He hasn't made any mistakes, and it's really, Robbie's having a hard time gaining on him.
You got 6 laps to go here. You've got a lot of miles yet.
You've got to run hard. I mean, you can see Robbie is driving the heck out of that car right now, trying to get close enough to make a move.
McMurray in 3rd, Biffle 4th, and John Andretti runs 5th. Dave, what's going on down there?
Bill, I want to tell you about Michel Jourdain Jr. His day is over in the 15 car. First, he could only, transmission problems basically. It would only run in 2nd gear. Now he only has 1st. That's no way to get around Watkins Glen. They're done for the day.
It'll take you a while. Another car off the pace.
It looks like he's got a right rear flat tire.
Chris Cook. And if that comes apart, we'll get the caution.
It's probably going to come apart.
I would think so.
Either that or it's going to roll. We'll see. It looks like he's almost trying to get it to come off. And he goes through the inner loop there. Goes straight.
Left rear.
We'll see if he makes it back. That's Chris Cook driving the 43 this week. Agajanian car.
Dave?
Yeah, right rear flat, as you can see, and they told Chris stay out of the groove. That's a good thing because now we can keep the race going. Kurt Busch and Robbie Gordon.
God, by the way,
Robbie right there.
Yeah, Robbie has found that rear bumper of Kurt Busch. And this is going to get good. Because if Robbie can get close enough, he definitely will make the move.
They're going to run up on Cook here. Right there.
Just be out of the way by the time he gets there.
He did a good job getting that car back to pit road. Four laps to go. Caution.
We got a car down here coming in with the little chicane back here that stopped. Yellow flag's waving, might be a corner.
Todd Cleaver. Now, Robbie really wanted to see this.
Right.
And Kurt Busch didn't.
And the question is, how long will it take to get that car off the track? Will we have to go to green-white checkers? And who's got enough fuel to make it if we do? Other than that, the fact that these two are racing as hard as they can, it's going to be a fun finish.
It's going to be a fun restart.
Alan?
And Bill, Robbie Gordon just called into his team on his radio and said, I didn't need that caution. I was just getting ready to work him. And his crew chief, Greg Irwin, called back and said, well, now you can work him on the green-white checker.
You know, it looks like there's a little overheating problems with McMurray there. If you go back to his car, if we can get a close-up shot, looks like it's blowing some water
out everywhere.
Water everywhere? Was that Jamie?
Yep. There it is.
There you go.
Just keep running it, dude. See what happens here.
He needs to get away from that bumper.
Marty?
Well, guys, you remember they've had this issue for most of the day. Early on in the race, the water was up to 250. They cleaned the grill on the very first stop. And Jamie telling the crew now it's unreal the amount of water that's coming out of the engine. They had thought they had gotten the grill clean, but just these last few laps, the water temperature had spiked once again. And he said as they sent under caution here, it's getting hotter by the lap.
When you look on the grill there, there's a lot of rubber, a lot of dirt on that grill. And there's not much open there to begin with. So if you get some grass and dirt, and you can see what these guys were doing up in front of them. They were dropping wheels, and when you drop a wheel, all that dirt and that grass and that rubber and stuff comes flying up, and it sticks right on your grill. It's a dirty trick, but I'm telling you what, it's very effective.
He's racing dirty, isn't he? I'll tell you what, if I walk into a casino and I see Jamie McMurray, I'm leaving because his luck has just been awful.
Yeah, that's not getting any better, so they're going to have to come in and clean that grill and probably pump some water in that engine because I just don't think it's going to hold up for how many laps we have left to go.
Well, it'll be 3 when we get to the line this time, at least.
He's trying his best to clean the grill, Wally, and what he's actually doing, is he's going to bump the 7 car. He's going to try and bump it and see if that knocks any debris off the grill. Now, I've seen getting behind someone aerodynamically and getting a piece of paper to fly off, but I've never seen trying to knock the debris off yourself.
I understand he's going to try, but that's not going to get it done. And you know, that's tough, man. You're sitting there, you don't want to see that. You're in 3rd place. You still got a shot at winning this race, and you're going to have to come in.
I don't think he's coming in.
McMurray's overheating big time in front of me. Hey, he wants to come up behind you and just bump you a little.
Everybody stays out. Take one more break. Come back for the finish here at Watkins Glen, where Kurt Busch leads Robbie Gordon.
We welcome you to the Granddaddy Manhattan Beach Open presented by Bud Light. We're set and ready for our Women's Championship final. It is going to be Misty May and Carrie Walsh. Who else? The winningest women's team in the history of pro beach volleyball. The Golden Girls are set to take on a surprise team that is playing together for the first and only time. We'll tell you about it when we come back. AVP Beach coming up shortly. Now let's go back to our NASCAR coverage.
Still under caution here at Watkins Glen, New York. NASCAR Busch Series Racing, the final laps. Kurt Busch leads Robbie Gordon, and Alan has been eavesdropping on the race leaders.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the fun things.
Yes,
Bill.
sir.
What must the drivers that are getting ready to have a little couple lap shootout for the win be thinking? Well, a lot of times the only people they can talk to are the guys on their team on the radio as they pour out their feelings, if you will. Robbie Gordon said, you know, it's good that we had this caution because I was really using the brakes hard. It's given me a chance to cool him down. I can really go after him now. Kurt Busch on his radio, very calm, describing the handling of his car. Yeah, it's not getting through the S's as well as I'd like. The carousel corner, that big, long, sweeping right-hander at the end of the backstretch. But we'll be okay. So we'll see how it turns out here, but it's going to be fun, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, if you had this camera on the restart, if you were watching that view, you would see Kurt Busch would be looking in the mirror more than he would be looking out the windshield.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's got to watch what he's going to do.
Spotter can't help you there, right?
No, forget it. You know what he's going to do. I mean, if you just drive down the left side of the racetrack, Robbie's going to the inside. So you've got to go the inside, the outside. You just got to keep blocking. On the other hand, Robbie doesn't care. He'll dive down the outside if there's an opening.
Remember this race last year? Ryan Newman won, driving car number
39.
Who finished second?
Mr. Gordon.
That's right. Familiar territory.
Is a 64 out of water yet? It's not spraying.
But it couldn't possibly be getting much cooler, could it?
I don't see it coming out.
The grill looks a little cleaner, too. Let's get an update on McMurray from Marty.
Well, Wally, I have a little bad news. The water temp is now going down on the 64 car. You know what that means, don't you?
Well, he's probably out of water unless they did get it cleaned off.
No, I don't know. Do you think it's out of water, Bryant?
Yeah, it looks like I was just watching here on TV. It looks like it's kind of quit spitting water right here. So, you know, we're hoping that we'll go back green here eventually and we can, you know, get a run at it here and just see if the motor will hold on. It ain't going to do us no good to come in right here. It's going to just go to the back there. I mean, we could never get water in it right now to make any difference as hot as it is. So hopefully if we can go green, the motor guys here, the oil temp's still there about 260, 265. So we're hoping we can make it for a lap or so here.
When they add caution laps, that actually hurts you, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, this extra caution laps and coming out has killed us right here. I don't know what the car had stopped over there for. If it must have broke something, but it's just really aggravating here. The Top Flight Dodge had run good all day, and we were good on the longer run and really got good lap times after we had a few laps on our tires, and these cautions here at the end of the race have just really killed us.
Obviously they have a top 3 car, but they need to get going here so they can get some clean, fresh air into that engine.
Well, you know, he was right. Bryant was right. I mean, if the thing that you got to keep an eye on right now is the oil temperature. If the water temperature comes down and the oil temperature stays up, then it is out of water.
You know, a Dodge with Kurt leads and a Dodge with McMurray is third. The Dodges have been strong here in both divisions all weekend. Dodges start 1, 2, 3 tomorrow with Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, and Ryan Newman. Now, we're working lap 81 of what was scheduled to be an 82-lap race. So right now we're going to go to a green-white-checkered finish when they get the one to go, which means there will be one attempt to finish this race under the green. If the caution comes out during that period, the race will be over. There are 15 scoring loops around this track. The loops and videotape will help determine the final finishing order if the caution comes out during the green-white checkers. Because NASCAR makes an attempt to finish the race under green, if it reaches its scheduled conclusion under the caution, one attempt at green-white checkers, and that just fires a driver up even more, doesn't it? Lights are out. Half a lap from going back to green. Jamie McMurray's best finish in 4 NASCAR Busch Series road course races, 10th at Mexico City. That was back in March. Volleyball coming up next right here on NBC.
All right, let's see. Guys got their brakes cooled off, their tires cleaned up. Kurt knows he's got to make one heck of a restart here.
Just running that strategy over and over in your head, aren't you?
Yeah, and like I said, he is looking in the mirror, trust me, more than he's looking out the windshield. He wants to know where Robbie's at before the restart, right before the restart, and right after the restart. You've got to try to anticipate his move. Robbie's just going to look for an opening. That's all he's looking for.
And it doesn't, for Robbie, it doesn't have to be that big.
No, it doesn't have to be big at all.
Robbie Gordon is really a blast to watch race, especially on road courses. And don't forget, behind them, McMurray in the 64 with the overheating problems.
Yeah, and hopefully that thing won't lock up in the middle of the S's, because I can't believe it's running this long without water.
You see the graphic says 3 to go, be 2 to go when they get the green flag. Pace car now will dive to pit road. Kurt Busch, the race leader. Robbie Gordon runs second. One attempt at a green-white-checkered finish. Hold your breath as they head for one. Watch Robbie try and close up on the bumper of Busch.
You see some gaps between these guys right now. They're trying to anticipate the start, and here we go. Boy, and Kurt got a great restart. That may have been the difference. That's all you need. Get into one clean.
Remember, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, now Robbie's really chomping the bit because he knows he missed an opportunity on that restart.
And he was all over Busch's bumper when the caution came out. Robbie makes up time in the inner loop. Watch this.
Hard on the brakes. I mean, you can see that car going from back. Look at that.
Right to him on his bumper.
Tries to get underneath them. Now Robbie's been a little bit better here than Kurt Busch.
Clear by half.
He's got to get a good run. If he gets a good run, not quite enough. Now he's got to get back on his bumper and set him up for turn 1. This is the most important set of corners right here.
White flag this time.
Boy, Kurt just looks so smooth right now. Not close enough.
But the bus stop will be a lot of fun.
It should be. Robbie may miss it this lap. He's going to drive in so deep.
Final lap for the NASCAR Busch Series at Watkins Glen, live on NBC. Kurt Busch leads Robbie Gordon.
Boy, Robbie got through the S's really good there.
Here comes the bus stop.
Here he comes.
Whoa! Oh, to the inside!
Wow!
Contact! They're through in the grass! And Kurt Busch comes out.
Unbelievable.
You got him. Nice job. Clear by 1.
That was some great car control on both of those guys right there. You knew it was coming.
Oh. You basically were right. Robbie didn't
He wasn't going to make it.
Coming up on the last turn of the last lap. Robbie trying hard for one more shot. He's not going to catch Kurt. Off of turn 7. Toward the start-finish line, checkered flag in the air.
It doesn't get too much better than that.
Kurt Busch wins a wild one at the Glen.
And McMurray made it home in third. Second win for Kurt Busch in 6 Busch Series races. Won at Texas earlier this year in his first ever Busch Series race. Fourth time a Busch race here at Watkins Glen has been won by the pole sitter. In the second straight year, the 39 car has gone to victory lane. Ryan Newman did it a year ago. Kurt Busch today. Fourth win for Dodge in 2006. Second straight runner-up for Robbie Gordon at the Glen. Watch this.
There you see it. Robbie he just flies in there, tries to get on the left side of the 39, and actually does. Both these guys do a really good job hanging on to the race cars.
I can't wait for tomorrow.
This is such a cool shot right here. I mean, Robbie I don't think he hit the brakes.
Right again, inside.
That's great stuff right there.
Dig hard, you got him. Nice.
Roy McCauley. He's the crew chief, and Alan is with him now.
And accepting congratulations from team members. You a little excited over that?
Yeah, I tell you what, that was some really good racing there. Got a little rough, but Kurt showed just how good of a driver he really is. And the Penske Truck Rental Dodge was good all day. The crew did a good job. I want to say special thanks to Matt Gimbel and his regular Busch guys. They really helped us out, put this program together with us, and I can't say enough. They really did a great job.
When you're sitting on a pit box watching your driver like that, and it's all in his hands, and you know how hard your guys have worked to prepare a car like that, what's going through your mind?
Wow. I don't really know what to say to that. It's pretty anxious moments. I know Robbie's not going to stop, but I also know how passionate Kurt is, and really makes for good racing. And I tell you what, I don't think you've seen a better show here at Watkins Glen for a while. And real proud of our Penske Truck Rental Dodge.
All right, Roy, it's a long walk to victory lane. Get going. Congratulations. Roy McCauley, winning crew chief today.
And the celebration for Kurt Busch on the pit stretch here at Watkins Glen. He's got some donuts. Busch celebrates. Let's hear from the runner-up, Dave.
Robbie climbing out of the car right now, and there's a lot of cheering going on, and I got to believe there's some of that for you there. The question I have is, did you use the brakes at all on the bus stop on the last lap?
Yeah, I did. We knew we were better than him there, and if I could get in and kind of move him out of the way, and I kind of clipped the left side curve this time, and just tried to move him, but he saved it and pushed me back up to the side of the wall. So fun race.
And so from your standpoint, Robbie, second place, but are you satisfied with your run?
We're satisfied. Obviously, best run we've had for Harris Entertainment, and that's a good thing. But we came here to win the race, and we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
He almost did. Marty?
Well, Dave, you can check out the front of Jamie McMurray's car. It's full of grass, and that is the reason his car overheated. I'm going to step over our cameraman Rusty's shot. And how did you limp this thing home, Jamie? I mean, that was awfully tough. It didn't have any water in it, did it?
No, it was out very lucky to end there. The restarts at the end just really hurt our car. Just got real loose on restarts, but 39 cars seem to be the best car all day long anyway, so cool. Congratulations, Kurt.
You said you were surprised at one point in how good your race car was. How surprised were you?
I think Coke's good. Well, I felt like we were good yesterday, but when we didn't qualify well, typically in impound races, the way you qualify is how you race, and it just seemed that the longer that we went, the better our top flight car got. So very good job to Bryant, and I know Rusty's probably in Kentucky watching, so had a good day. We needed this.
Who cares if you have water in the engine or not? Jamie McMurray finishes third. Dave?
Greg Biffle finishes fourth. Were you dealing with your own problems or watching all that was going on in front of you? McMurray, running out of water in his car in the race up front?
I'll tell you what, it was pretty exciting out there. McMurray hit the curb going up through the S's, and I thought his day was done. I thought his bacon was cooked, and he was able to save it, and I checked out the throttle, and then the 39 and the 7, they can't stay out of the gravel. We couldn't see where we're going. They're in the dirt coming off of this corner. They're in the dirt through the S's. It was kind of fun. McMurray and I saw him go off, and I was right on McMurray's bumper, and I didn't know what was going to be on the other side, so I had to back off a little bit, we had our own race going. It's unfortunate we got together with the one down there. It kind of pitched us down and ruined the left front fender on the race car. And I was going to the front, I felt like, but great day for us, top 5 finish.
Greg Biffle. Bill?
Thanks, Dave. You can see the finishing order going across the bottom of the screen for John Andretti, the first top 5 of his NASCAR Busch Series career. And there's Kurt in victory lane for the first time as a married man. How about that? Got married just a couple of weeks ago during the off week. And guess where he starts tomorrow? On the pole. To victory lane, and here's Matt Yoakum.
6 NASCAR Busch Series career start, Bill. Second time he has gone to victory lane, and what an exciting victory. As he climbs out of the car, it looks more like it just left Martinsville or South Boston. And you heard him say, you can't believe it. Some crazy restarts, some crazy battles to the bus stops. Robbie Gordon said this was a fun final lap. How would you describe it, Kurt?
It was interesting, to say the least, man. You know, we probably wouldn't race our Cup cars like this because we've got points. And when we get to come in and race these Busch races, the main objective is to get team time, to develop crew guys. And damn, we didn't have a good time developing road racing drivers out there. Robbie and I had a heck of a time, you know. If I was to tell a kid watching TV, I wouldn't say that Robbie was the guy to look at on road courses. But hey, man, we finished the race up front. He still continued on. Reminded me a little bit of the battles with Ricky Craven back at Darlington. But awesome job with Penske Truck Rental aboard this car. Can't thank Miller Lite enough for letting me come play. All of our associate sponsors. Felt like today was air conditioned by Lennox, so I got to get them in there. Thanks a lot.
Describe that final restart.
You know, I was just watching him lag back a little bit, and the double red is in the vicinity of is when you can drop the hammer. I was like, I'm in the vicinity, it's time to go. So I checked out, but looks like I got work to do tomorrow to get through the bus stop a little better. So he was rifling it through there. I don't know if that's what you call trying to pass somebody, but he was trying to drive through us, and we were able to stay planted, stay footed, and stay focused. And this team really gave me a great car to be able to battle with Robbie Gordon.
His first Busch win on a road course.
Thanks, Matt. Now, don't forget, all the excitement continues tomorrow on NBC at 1 o'clock Eastern Time with Nextel Cup Racing from Watkins, Glen. It all begins with the Bank of America Countdown to Green. Again, that's 1 Eastern tomorrow right here on NBC. And coming up next, Misty May and Kerry Walsh hit the sand for the AVP Manhattan Beach Open. For Wally Dahlback and all the guys on pit road, this is Bill Weber. We'll see you tomorrow with Benny Parsons up here in the booth. BP, take care of that road. Thanks for having us in for the race. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 Eastern. Now, let's go to volleyball, and here's Chris Marlowe.